Morning, welcome to the Midwich stand. My name is Martin Shripton. I'm a sales engineer with Mersive. We've got the Solstice wireless collaboration solution, which you can obviously see on the screens behind me. The benefit of the products obviously is the fact that we've got two network interfaces, so you can have your internal staff enterprise type network, obviously using an RJ45 connector on the back of the device, and obviously built into the same box is a wireless access point which can attach to either a guest network, or you can obviously use it as a standalone in its own right. The interface for the actual product itself, obviously on the screen we've got an RSS ticker feed at the top. We've also got the calendar integration, which is Office 365, Exchange, Google Calendar's coming soon, and obviously we're an open API platform, so there's many things that you can obviously integrate with Crestron and Extron, etc. for any other integration needs that you have. On the screen we've also obviously got the customization part, so we've got 6 images currently in this version, which is 3.2.2, which you can obviously customize 6 images, so for your company logos, etc., or anything that you want. The name of the system, and obviously we've got a security key here as well on the screen. Obviously that's the web interface. You can see some pictures, obviously with the pleasure of being in Sydney I took the other day. Customization wise, obviously on a dashboard, if you're using the enterprise license, you obviously get the ability to alter all of this as a central managed platform for the multiple pods that you may have deployed in your environment. So from a user's perspective, obviously we cover all of the platforms, so we have, if looking at my devices here, we've got the client for the Apple iPad. I've got exactly the same looking client for the Android platform. So from a user's perspective, it looks exactly the same. And obviously, if they're using it on a Windows-based machine, again, obviously it looks exactly the same. The lists themselves obviously populate via a Solstice Discovery service, which obviously runs on the same network as the client and the pods themselves. Documentation is all available on mersive.com. And for usability factor, so if I give you a demonstration on Integrate One, so I'm a guest user that's come in. I don't obviously have the client. What I can do is connect to the relevant network IP address here, because I'm on that network. Brings me to the web page of the product itself, and if I needed to get the client, I can just click on Get the App and Join, and that will then run obviously on your machine. It doesn't need to be an administrator to run that client, so all of your usual challenges with obviously with the computer locks down and things, obviously this is overcome in the way that it installs. Once you've actually got the client itself, as I say, if I click on here on Integrate One, and if you watch carefully behind me, the 0953 number will actually expand. So the client is asking for the key, so intuitively it's obviously expanding on the screen to let you know where that is. So if I go 0953 and hit connect, obviously on the bottom of the screen now you can see one of our little meeple characters obviously that's joined, and it color codes obviously for your client as well. So as multiple people join the product, you can actually see who's joining by the color code. Obviously we're touchscreen capable, so if I wanted to know who that was, I can tap on the person there and it tells me that in this case it's Martin's PC, in the same way that I could hover over it in my client and it would give me the same information. So if I wanted to actually just share my desktop within the client, we've got 3 options. So if I start with desktop share, I just click on desktop. And you can see obviously with my PC it's exactly the same screen that's obviously appearing on screen there. So if I was to minimize what's currently on there, obviously it's you can kind of see the the reactiveness of desktop share. Bearing in mind that once again we're talking wireless collaboration, so I'm completely air-gapped from from the session on any cables. The other options that I've got on here is obviously application share. So for example, if I wanted to share you my information but I didn't want you to see my emails or my messages and everything that's coming up on the screen from people while I'm actually doing a presentation, I can share a particular application. So if I click on app window, my PC grays out obviously to let me know which app window I want. All I do is I hover over, in this case, the Excel document, and click on the document I want to share, and it will open a separate window specifically for that application. So you can have multiple application windows open on the screen at the same time, and obviously within the machine itself, if I now minimize that within my PC, obviously it still stays up on the presentation, so you can carry on doing other work while obviously discussing your presentation. The other option that we've got is media file share. So if I click on the media file share, that gives me the ability to directly share image files and video files, obviously, that I have on my machine. And one important thing with all of that is when I'm saying share, the media files themselves stay on the source machine. So what we're actually doing is using a 2048-bit encryption of stream between the client and the pod itself. Obviously, that can be disabled in elements where maybe you need to disable that encryption, but that's kind of the standard encryption level. So if I click on media file share on my machine here, it will just basically ask me to browse to where I want to actually share the content from. So if I go back to some of the information on here for general business content and some images, I can choose multiple images at the same time. Click open, and obviously on the Solstice screen, obviously that content is all being sent at the same time. Now again, going back to the fact that we're touch capable, so obviously we do have the ability to move things around on the screen, or if I double tap, it will bring one forward or go back. If I needed to remove this from screen but not actually delete it from the session, what I can do is move it off to the side. We've got a little park bar, so it's still there. I can just obviously drag that back on as and when I need to, just by tapping on the side on a touch screen. And within the client, if I go to layout mode, I've got exactly the same input on here. So again, from a client's perspective, I could be doing exactly the same thing. If I wanted to organise this a little bit better, perhaps, and put the business content into one particular stack, if you imagine putting paper on the table and shuffling it into one pile, what we can do is obviously create a stack of information. So if I wanted to move all of these into one place, now obviously the screen looks tidier, but if obviously you'll notice we've got a number 5, which means there's 5 pieces of content in there. If I bring this to the front and go full screen and tap on the number 5, I then have the ability to rotate around that stack of content. So you could have different people that are connected all at the same time with their organised stack of information. If you then needed to, tapping on the side here to bring something else back in, if you needed to then once you've pre-organised that stack, again, you can move the entire stack off to the side as well. So obviously it keeps all the information in one place. So it's all about preparation and workflow of how obviously you can make your meetings become a conversation. I think is obviously one of the key messages for Solstice, rather than obviously like a one-to-one presentation. So that's pretty much key to the way that you would use Solstice. We also do have moderation on there, so everything I was showing you there is non-moderated. Within the client, we do have the ability to slide on a moderator, and obviously the person that's then the moderator is controlling who's joining, are they a second moderator, and also you can preview their content on your client before it obviously goes to screen. But yeah, that's pretty much the message from Mersive.